The defense requests permission to have another look at the court illustration. I think there might be a contradiction in there.
Oh.
You are already out of time. All testimony and evidence given thus far have been proven to be accurate.
Objection.
Haha.
I wouldn't be so sure, Inquisitor Barnham.
Yeah, Barnham.
There's just one thing you've overlooked. A piece of evidence within this book.
This book that we just got.
The Grand Grimoire? Absurd. I overlooked something. You are the defender here. You should have examined the tome earlier. You're right, I should have. But unfortunately, I was nothing but a simple baker until just now. Interesting. You've certainly begun to show your true colors, Sir Blue Knight Apprentice Baker, who I still don't like.
I still don't like.
Let us see what type of knight you truly are. Have at you! Ah!
Oh, God.
The defender will now show us the supposed contradiction. The court illustration and the Grand Grimoire. Somewhere there's a contradiction between those two, and I've got to find it. This is my last chance.
Oh. Okay. So this would be interesting. How they want you to do this. So they want you to click on her empty hand, or on...
I think the milk bucket is a prime candidate. Let's see.
Because they... Yeah. And then you're gonna click on incantation.
I cannot. I definitely have to point out something within the actual thing.
Well, click on her hand bucket then.
Got it.
And then...
The contradiction is here. The hand of the accused? She appears to be holding a milk bucket. Yes, but that milk bucket was said to have vanished from the crime scene. It's quite possible that there's an important reason behind its disappearance. Inquisitor Barnum, what are your thoughts on this? It is quite mysterious, indeed, my lord. However, the Inquisition believes it bears no relation to this case. Forest wolves simply came and stole the bucket.
Wolves love buckets.
Nothing more. Let us not dwell on the milk bucket for the time being, Mr. Wright. Rather, we should first consider any information within the Grand Grimoire that might lead us to a contradiction. A new piece of evidence. Maybe I should have another look at it. Just have to touch the Grand Grimoire button. I know.
I don't understand how...
Is he gonna penalize me for that? Granted, but be warned, you're running out of chances, Defender.
Now we didn't get penalized.
The Defender will now show us the supposed contradiction.
This is confusing. Obviously it's the scepter.
Requires an incantation and scepter to cast. I can't present that.
It does say it requires a circle of flame within... Wait, so I look at it again?
So, summons a circle of flame within a 1 meter radius of
Yeah.
the caster. Requires an incantation and scepter to cast.
Yeah. Maybe it's her other hand then we should point at? The other empty hand? Without the lamp in it?
Somewhere there's a contradiction between these two, and I've got to find it. This is my last chance.
Oh, wait, hold on. Also, look at the ground. Is that water, or is that supposed to be...
Oh.
No, I think you got it right.
The contradiction is right here. The hand of the accused. She seems to be holding a lantern. What's your point?
Yeah, okay.
According to this tome, using the spell Ignies requires the use of the witch's scepter as well as an incantation. Isn't that right? Correct. For witches to use magic, they must be in possession of a witch's scepter, also known as a talia magica.
Oh, okay.
I seem to know a lot about witches for someone who's not a witch. If that's the case, then there's one thing that doesn't add up. Take another look at Miss Cantabella's hands. Tell me, do you see the witch's scepter in either of her hands?
No, sir.
Exclamation point!
There we go. Now we're seeing him get angry.
There we go. Let's see you point that sword at me now.
Don't actually
You
look.
did it, Mr. Wright. But why is it that contradiction just a little too obvious?
You may be right, Luke.
Eh?
It would certainly appear that the good Inquisitor is taking this particular oversight rather too well. That is correct, Sir Apprentice Baker. But you should not underestimate me. Huh? This is perhaps your first time seeing this item, is it not? Right here is the very scepter you mentioned.
What?
One of the witnesses found it tossed in the shrubbery on the side of the path.
Aha! Yes, indeed, that was I. I located it. My feet found themselves ensnared in the blasted thing, and it sent me flying through the air.
Somehow, I'm not surprised to hear you fell, Gramps.
Oh, zing.
This scepter does seem to carry a most sinister air. Indeed, my lord. However, the scepter will only work in the hands of a witch, and the incantation being said aloud. Oh, that's too bad. I wanted to try lighting some stuff on fire. Please don't look at me when you say that.
Oh my god, Maya!
You see, there are two magic gems in it, set in the scepter. Magic gems? Looks like a red gem and a white gem. They could combine to make a pink gem. These gems each contain a particular magic spell. By simply looking at these magic gems, one can easily determine which magic spell can be used.
You know, because there's not a lot of colors.
Nick, quick, look at this page.
Obviously, it's a red gem.
Yes.
Is that all she wanted us to do? Okay.
Is that the red magic gem? Indeed, the red gem you see here is the spell Ignize. And if you look
Oh, fire
carefully,
everywhere! Oh, sorry, he's not a witch.
You should notice that this scepter also has one more spell that can be used. One more? That must be the white gem.
It's a healing spell, right?
Mr. Right, I found it. It's the spell for the white magic gem.
Demare, vanishing spell. Causes anything the caster touches to vanish from sight. Simply chant Amare to make it reappear.
Okay.
Demare has been bookmarked in the Grand
I like
Grimoire.
Luke's little bookmark stickers.
Causes anything the caster touches to vanish from sight. Ugh. Humph. I see you managed to work it out in that crusty head of yours. Because bread, it's a bread joke. It's a joke about bread.
More bread jokes.
That's just, it can't be. The puns. I can't. The reason the witch's scepter couldn't be seen is because the magic spell Demare had made it disappear.
Whoa! What was that? Is this
That's right. In other words,
spiking a football there?
the accused conjured a cowardly spell to camouflage her own use of magic.
Didn't do a very good job.
No! No! Way!
No way!
No way!
No way!
Nah. Order! 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 Inquisitor Barnum, please submit the scepter into evidence.
Oh, good. What?
Hold on, please. Is there a problem, Sir Baker? Okay, I understand this is a witch's scepter. However, whether or not the scepter was in Miss Cantabella's possession has not yet been proven. And what are you talking about, Sir Apprentice Baker? Isn't it obvious? I'm talking about fingerprints. Supposing Miss Cantabella did in fact handle this witch's scepter, then her fingerprints should still be on it.
They don't know what those are. They don't know about fingerprints. Phoenix.
What's with the sounds?
What in the blazes are fingerprints?
You said fingerprints. The prints of fingers. Does the Finger King know that he's out? Inquisitor Barnum, tell me. What is this Baker blabbering about? I haven't the slightest clue, my lord. It is the Baker's first time in court, after all. He's clearly delirious.
About the fingerprints right now.
Huh?
Oh my god, Luke's face is like...
I'm afraid it's no use, Mr. Wright. In this world, it would seem the concept of fingerprinting does not yet exist. What? Let's invent it then. They still have fingers with prints on them. I can't believe it. As I have said already, best you head back to the bakery, lest you continue to serve this court more of your half-baked ideas. About as half-baked as your terrible puns, Barnum.
That's great that he said that at
Forensic
least.
science does not exist here. Instead, this is a world in which witches and magic are accepted as fact. Truly fascinating.
Uh-huh.
Terra
Alright.
Magica added to the court record.
Oh!
What the heck? There are just way too many things I don't know about this world. Mr. Wright, I believe you may be able to take these things you don't know and use them to your advantage. Huh? The Inquisition believes there is no room for debate on this matter. The accused clearly attempted to conceal her magic. Better luck next time, Sir Apprentice Baker.
Why did he hide this scepter from us?
Mayhaps your next loaf will not leave such a bitter taste in our mouths.
Well, I'll give you a taste of my
Now
loaf,
then, my
all right?
lord, I believe it is time. I ask that you render your unwavering verdict.
Objection.
Whoa, whoa, Layton. It's so weird when he says it. Ah.
Pardon the interruption. May I have a word, Inquisitor Barnum? What's that? Who might you be? My name is Herschel Layton. I am a friend of the accused. Inquisitor Barnum, please allow me to confirm what you believe happened on the night of the crime. You claim the witch's scepter was made to disappear through the use of magic. Is that correct? Indeed, through the magic spell Demir. If possible, would you mind providing proof of this particular claim? What?
Proof.
You claim the scepter was not seen. Indeed, that is one possibility. However, a wise man must always consider every possibility.
And Barnum, you are a dummy.
What say you, Inquisitor Barnum? Can the Inquisition fulfill the request presented by the gentleman with the unusual hat?
Ah.
The Inquisition cannot honor this request for proof.
Whoa. So die.
If you are certain that the accused is not a witch, then the burden of proof lies at the feet of the defender.
That's...
Come on, it's the Inquisition's job to prove that a crime was committed. As I thought. Indeed, it would appear the accepted method of thinking in this world differs greatly from our own. How regrettable. Sir Apprentice Baker, and you, Sir Dark Hat.
Sir Dark Hat. Whoa.
Inquisitor Barnum, sir, should you require it, I stand ready to lend my testimony.
Would anyone care to purchase any pre-testimony flowers? I've got a lovely array of bewitching lilies.
Snowy and I will not be dismissed so easily. We came here to expose the identity of this witch. Isn't that right, my beloved son?
A witch's scepter, you say? Yes, I know of such a scepter. Allow me to elucidate the matter.
What do you think, Inquisitor Barnum? Your witnesses appear to have something to say on the subject.
Yeah.
Very well. Most honorable witnesses, I grant your request to testify once more.
Sounds good.
Tell the court all you know regarding this Talia Magica.
Dun 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 dun.
Oh, well, we've somehow managed to keep the trial going. I owe you one, Sir Dark Hat. Please, Mr. Wright. Mr. Layton will suffice for the time being.
You call me Dark Hat later.
After I hack all of your computers.
Dark Hat, not Dark Hat.
When I saw her, the witch was carrying a large milk bucket in one hand and a lantern in the other.
The girl had the lantern hanging from her wrist. Her hand was contorted in a strange way.
I got a good look at her hand, and I looked for certain that she was gripping something.
The witch was holding a scepter in her right hand. She did not drop it once before she was
In
apprehended.
her right hand, huh? Okay.
I see. The accused's hand was contorted in a strange way. I
Sounds
do believe
logical.
this is quite an important piece of testimony.
I saw it. I most certainly saw it. She was holding an invisible scepter.
We saw it too. Was the girl up there without a doubt?
I as well. These old eyes don't see as well as they once did, but I witnessed the hazy, blurry form of the accused quite clearly.
Uh-huh.
Don't tell the court you're blind. My eyesight is as sharp as the edge of my trusty, completely dull rubber sword. A toy sword. How fascinating. Although I wonder if he understands the implications of that analogy on his vision.
Wow.
The joke I made was true.
Sir Baker, you may proceed with your interrogation.
Mr. Layton's given me another chance. I can't let it go to waste.
Can't let it go.
Cantabella.
Cantabella.
Cross-examination.
Whoa.
I like their faces on the swords.
Yeah.
About the Talia Magica. When I saw the witch was carrying a large milk bucket in one hand and a lantern in the other.
We probably can press. We have enough shields that they're gonna be like, hey,
Press it.
hold it. Yeah.
The large lantern you mentioned is this one, correct? There's no mistaking it. That fiendishly fiendish form with its case darker than the darkest of nights. That was the lantern.
What most lanterns look like.
It's just a normal lantern. What is this? It would seem the glass is shattered. And there seems to be a sizable amount of mud stuck to it. On closer inspection, it appears mud has stuck to the broken sections of the glass. Most intriguing.
So then, when exactly did the lantern get mud all over it?
By the way, witness, you also saw a milk bucket, is that correct? Indeed, I would bet my sword on it! My extremely expensive sword that I didn't win out of a candy machine. And yet, that milk bucket mysteriously vanished from the scene of the crime. How many times must I say it, Sir British Baker? The problem is the Black Lantern.
The problem is the Black Lantern? What? What does that mean?
The girl had the lantern hanging from her wrist. Her hand was contorted in a strange way.
Yeah, press that. Why not?
Hold it!
She had the lantern hanging from her wrist? Are you sure? There's no way she could have dropped the lantern if she was holding a scepter,
Yep.
because it wouldn't have slipped over her hand.
Yep. You're
If that
so
wasn't
smart.
it, then how else would the girl manage to hold her invisible scepter? Ma'am, please, just testify about what you actually saw. We just said what we saw, isn't that right, Snowy? Indeed, a handle as wide as this could easily hung from the accused's small wrist. Yes, it could. That is true. That's what we were telling you, isn't that right, Mommy's little snowball?
Yes, Mom.
It's no good. They're all been assuming Isabella was holding that scepter. It seems it may be best not to pursue this particular line of questioning any further. Well, that's just super. That's just great.
What'd she say?
I got a good look at her hand, and it looked for certain that she was gripping something.
Yeah, press her too.
Yeah?
What's the worst case?
The witch was holding her scepter in her right
Okay.
hand. She did not drop it once before she was apprehended.
Press him, because he's definitely saying more closer to what you wanna.
That's the one I want to present on, because
Yeah.
the lantern couldn't have fallen off of her wrist if she had a giant
Yep.
scepter in her hand.
Yep. It's just finding a way to make sure we can
Get
present
this straight. There was no way for you to see the invisible scepter, was there?
Well, now that's common sense, boy. One cannot see what is not there to be seen.
that. True.
In that case, there was also no way you could tell whether or not she might have dropped the scepter.
Well, these old eyes of mine honed in on her hand like a hawk until they couldn't see straight. The young lady was most certainly holding an invisible scepter in her right hand, while at the same time also carrying the lantern.
Okay.
Or do you perhaps possess some piece of evidence suggesting that she dropped the scepter?
There hasn't been any evidence so far, it's just Isabella was holding the scepter. Evidence suggesting the scepter was dropped. Now that is an interesting idea.
We know, Layton. What?
If Isabella did not have the scepter in her hand, it would have been impossible for her to have used any magic. Well, yeah, that's true. I don't suppose. Might there be a piece of evidence that could prove this? Something to prove that Isabella was not holding the scepter at the time of the murder. In other words, evidence to show that even if Isabella had been holding the scepter, she would have dropped it, because the lantern, if she could have dropped the lantern and was holding a scepter,
Yeah.
she would have had to have dropped it too.
Yeah.
Is everything all right, Mr. Wright? The truth about what happened in that brief instant will likely decide Isabella's fate. I have to do everything I can to find a contradiction in these testimonies. Guess I should take another look at the court record. We know just what's up. Not you, Popeye. Not you, person who jacks off goats. Not you, Fluttershy. But you, the camp counselor from Gumball.
Okay. School counselor, yeah. Alright. See what happens.
Objection!
there's a high probability that Miss Cantabella was not holding the scepter. But if, for the sake of argument, she had been holding it, she would have undoubtedly have dropped it at the time of the incident. What do you mean? What I mean, Inquisitor Barnum, is that this lantern proves the defendant was not holding the scepter. What foolishness are you spouting, Sir Apprentice Baker? The lantern's handle was around the accused's wrist. Meaning she could have held the scepter? I'm afraid that's not the problem here, Inquisitor Barnum.
Yeah, man.
The problem is with the broken glass and the mud plastered all over it. What? The rain had just ended as the murder was taking place. That would make the path fairly muddy, don't you agree? When the thieves grabbed Miss Cantabella by the arm, the lantern must have fallen into the mud.
The lantern
Fell into the mud?
Why, of course, that makes sense, doesn't it? My little snowy woey woey booby 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 kissy kissy gonna make out with a goat.
What do you say, Inquisitor Barnum? If she was holding the scepter at the time... Well, that would mean when she dropped the lantern, the scepter would have fallen along with it.
Ah!
What's going on?
Inquisitor Barnum, safe spaces!
That defender's managed to turn the whole thing around, even though he's just a baker.
He's just a baker.
No way. Pay the witch's accomplices no heed. They're just trying to trick you.
Barnum! Barnum! Barnum!
Oh no.
Barnum!